All right, we are live. Sunny days in Flushing. Pask and Zach. So let's come out of the gate with this. David Stearns has a press conference today. Kind of a surprise. I don't know if this was really like announced, but I saw it on Twitter probably about 12:45, which was actually cool that SNY put
Yeah,
it on their social media feed,
yeah.
which is not like what they've. I feel like what they've always done, like because and the last time Stearns had a press conference from the dugout, it was like not found, not found, but like we saw everything after, which sucked. So
Yeah.
basically, a lot of what we already know. Sanga's progressing in his rehab. They're gonna have him not throw for another 7 to 10 days, which we knew that. I guess maybe what we didn't know was that they're gonna take another image of him, and
Which makes
then
sense.
if everything's good, resume throwing. Exactly. I mean, there's no sense to rush this along. There's no sense to push this. It's so early in the season. So what I kind of keyed into was a couple of questions from the media. One of them was something that we've asked a lot as fans is, are we moving to a six-man rotation once Senga comes back, right? Because Senga is a guy that came from Japan, is used to a six-man rotation, is used to going really once a week and not so much every 5 days.
Yeah.
And it was kind of answered for us. And I guess in the end, maybe kind of what I expected, because we had talked about this, I think, on our first show. Are they going to move to a six man? And basically, what David Stern said was they've got guys with options,
Yeah.
and they're going to utilize those options, and they're going to try, especially to have Sanga go once every 6 days. But like, he was not really committed to a full on six man rotation, which I guess is fine. Um, I
Makes sense
think
too. You want to keep these. You want to keep the guys that pitch to the normal schedule. You want to keep them on their track as opposed to catering to
right.
Sanga's needs, and it makes sense. I thought it made sense in the sense that you got guys that are injury prone. I mean, Severino's had his injury problems. McGill's had his injury problems. Quintana and Hauser are both a little bit older, so maybe that's something you can do to keep these guys healthy. But I guess if it's not needed, yeah,
It's
why?
going to be
Why?
a hard thing to do, though, if you're trying to keep Sanga on 6 days and everybody else in their normal routine. Like, it sounds good in theory and it could work for parts of the season,
Yeah.
but there's going to be points where Sanga's probably going to have to go on a fifth day.
Yeah. I mean, did he
Um,
specifically say that they're going to do their best to keep Sango on his on extra day's
I
rest?
don't remember that. I remember him bringing up that guys have options. They're going to utilize those options. Which, listen, that's smart. Like that's how you. This is a business. That's how you run a business the right
Yeah.
way. I totally get that, but
What's up, Stevie?
I think you want to be in a Stevie Max chiming in.
Yeah. He said, "What's up?"
Stevie Mac, good to see you, pal. Yeah, I think you want to. I just want to see them kind of doing the same thing all year. If they're going to be in a six man, then be in a six man. If you're gonna call, and it's also like I would hate that for Lucchese and Buto, just seeing them go up and down, up and down, up and down. Like, commit to them or don't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I don't know,
agree.
but whatever. That's not the end of the world. And
Yeah,
especially to
pretty
start the
accept
season,
anything.
you're not going to have Senga, so it's not the biggest deal. You want to do a five man, do a five man. What I think a lot of people honed in on, and Stearns, I guess, in typical fashion, said a lot while saying nothing. Was in a way was almost non. I wouldn't say non-committal to Beatty and Vientos. Was definitely non-committal to bringing in any external options, but
No.
also said like, if there's a way to improve the team, we're going to do it.
Yeah, I think this is more catered towards Vientos. I mean, I think Beatty, we know what's going to happen. He's going to get the shot. No question. I think he basically came out and said Beatty's our opening day third baseman. He said the same for Vientos at DH, but I think he's leaving he's leaving all of his options open there. He's not just closing the door on bringing in an external option, whether that's signing someone like a JD Davis or Martinez, or potentially trading for someone. Well, I doubt he would do something like that, but that is a possibility. There's also the potential to have someone like G-Man Choi or DJ Stewart fill that role. So I guess time will tell. I think the smart thing to do right now, if they're not going for JD Martinez, is to really just give Vientos that legitimate look. This is what everyone was clamoring for last year, and we didn't get it. And it seems like Stearns, for the most part, is going with that, at least as of right now.
Yeah, so that leads us into, our first segment here, potential roster improvements. There's things that they're definite on, right? Like, who's playing first base, who's playing short. Your outfield is pretty much set, pending injury, right? Knock on wood. It seems like Bader's going to be playing center, Nimmo in left, Marte in right.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume there's going to be some scheduled days off with Marte, and at this point, that's smart. Obviously the production is one thing, but this is a guy that's been injury prone, had his injuries last year. You don't want to see it lag and continue into this year.
No.
So that makes sense. And they've got the outfield depth. Like you said, they've got DJ Stewart. I guess Trace Thompson is
Trace
potentially
Thompson.
still
He can
there.
he can play all three spots, and he's good defensively. And so is who's the other guy? Taylor. Taylor's the other guy that they brought in this offseason. He actually came in with Hauser as a good fourth outfielder. So we have the depth there. And I mean, then we have the minors, the guys in the minors, our Gilberts, our Jet Williams. They're all down there, come up at any minute.
I left out second base and catcher. Obviously, we know McNeil's at second. And McNeil's an interesting piece here because McNeil's going to be in this lineup. He's definitely a guy that you look at and there's potential for, depending on the way the season's going, good or bad. He's definitely a guy that could be traded at the deadline. He's worth quite a bit when he's on, when he's doing what he does, right? Where he's a 300 hitter. There is value to that. There's not tremendous value, but there's value to that. You can get something out of that. So, but like right now, that's our second baseman. Alvarez, obviously our catcher. He's going to switch on and off here and there with Narvaez, but it's going to be, I would imagine, probably a 60-40, 70-30 split between the two.
Definitely like a 70-30 split. And I think it also depends what happens with DH. I mean, we spoke about the outfield. And then Alvarez has the potential to get some at-bats at DH. So if Vientos really does struggle out the gate and really can't get it going, I think you could see a situation where you look at Nimmo, Bader, and Marte all getting looks at DH during the week just to kind of keep them fresh. What would be like a revolving door of them playing DH just to keep them off their feet for a game. Same with Alvarez, maybe if he's out of the lineup for
honestly, Alonso
a day
too.
off behind the plate. Yeah,
you want to keep Alonso fresh. Like that's definitely a guy. And
he's a dog though, so he'll play every game he can. So I doubt we'll see too much of him at DH unless he's maybe he's a little bit sore and needs a day off, but they want to keep his bat in the lineup. But that's the whole thing with those guys. The DH position can be used as a pseudo off day for these guys just to get them some extra rest.
At some point, you're going to need to figure out DH, right?
No, 100%. That's not a permanent solution.
No, it's not. And I'm all for using it once a week as a platoon thing. Like you want to give Lindor a day off, but you don't want him out of the lineup. You want to give Nimmo a day off. I totally get that. Once a week, that makes sense. You want to keep guys' legs fresh. It's a long season, especially those dog days of summer. Guys get dehydrated. They're traveling a lot. I get it. The DH position's very interesting because, Stearns did talk about giving these guys their run, giving these guys a shot. Obviously, I think it was somebody from SNY tweeted it. Anyways, that the Mets are once again talking to JD Davis. And what needs to not be lost here is that JD Davis is a solid baseball player. Like there's nothing. If JD Davis is a guy on your bench, I think you're doing something right. No doubt about it. But if you're the Mets, like there's an upside and a downside to the fork in the road here, right? And that fork in the road is you play these young kids and let's be honest, you're going to lose games. Like that's what's going to happen. You're going to lose games, but that's okay because you're going to know what they are. And it gives you kind of a blueprint for how you want to attack 2025. If that's the route they go, fine. I'll be fine with that. No problem. If you sign JD Martinez, you're not getting kind of the run that you thought you were going to get out of Vientos and maybe a little of Beatty too. But at least you've got a guy that's going to bat close to 300 and is going to, especially in Citi Field in the summer, he's going to put at least, he put 33 over the fence last year. I'd bookmark him for at least 25 if he plays close to a full season. And that's JD Martinez,
Oh, JD Martinez,
right?
yeah,
And that's probably more than either Vientos or Beatty is going to hit. Now, whatever you do at that fork in the road, to me, is fine. But the one thing I don't want to see them do is JD Davis because, and it's nothing against him, but like, there's not much of a benefit. Like, if he comes here, maybe he's a little better. I mean, he's definitely a better hitter right now than Vientos or Beatty is, but he's not a game changing, he's not a season changing guy.
no,
You know, like the 2019 JD Davis is Adrian Hauser just gave up a fucking 2-run jack.
3-1.
3-run homer.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah.
you know what's going on with JD Davis. You know his ceiling, and it Vientos. We still have yet to see that. You know, he could be a 30+ home run guy, a guy that can drive in 100 RBIs and bat in the middle of your lineup. He could be that. JD Davis really isn't that now. And I like JD Davis. I think he's a good option off the bench. And at face value, JD Davis makes this team better. But the thing is what are we giving him? What is he going to be on this team? Is he going to be a bench bat, a guy that can play third base, once in a while if Brett Beatty needs a day off? Is he going to play DH every once in a while on a day Mark Vientos needs off as an insurance policy? I'm fine with that. But if he's going to be someone that's going to be starting every day at DH or potentially third base for these guys because they're not playing well,
that's not what you want.
I would just let them work through it. You know what I mean? I think you got bigger issues there if that's your option. That's your best alternative.
Right. And like if like DJ Stewart wasn't here, because I at this point I see DJ Stewart similarly to how I see JD Davis, and at least and they're not the same player, but like the production is relatively similar, I feel. No. And like at least DJ Stewart can go out and play right and left field for you. Like JD Davis can't do those things. So to sign JD doesn't make sense. If you want to sign Martinez, and you know what? Listen, maybe all of this is to, I'm not even going to say light a fire under Vientos and Beatty. Like, you're professionals, you're trying to make a ball club, you're trying to make a name for yourself. You shouldn't need a fire. That is enough of a fire to light under your ass. Yeah. But maybe it's something to kind of get in JD Martinez's head of like, hey, the Mets are talking to JD Davis. Like they maybe don't believe in Vientos. Do you want that job? Like, do you want to go play there, or do you want to go to Miami or Anaheim?
No.
You know what I mean? Maybe they kind of want JD Martinez to shit or get off the pot. Maybe they want the price to come down. I don't really know what it is, but I that's why I would just be disappointed if they signed JD Davis. And once again, love the guy. Like, love him. A lot of great memories with JD Davis, but it's kind of a nothing move. It's a nothing move.
Yeah, I mean, for me, again, it's what they sign him here to do. If they're signing him here as an insurance policy, a bench bat, I'm fine with it. If they're signing him here to be your everyday DH or your third baseman replacement for Brett Beatty, then just don't. In all honesty, to keep it short, if that's your option, find another option.
Computer was dying.
Oh, jeez.
I forgot to put the charger in. Sorry about that.
No, but that being said, I mean, we can keep talking about the ways they can improve this roster. I mean, I think one big thing for me is definitely acquiring some more pitching depth. Because if you really look at it, when David Peterson and Kodai Senga went down, I mean, boy, we were left with Tyler McGill. No one was too excited about that. And he's been very good this spring training. Don't get me wrong. And I really like Tyler McGill. I think he could be a very good pitcher in this league. But past them, it's guys like Jose Butto and Joey Lucchesi who, honestly, they don't do much for me. Jose Butto has been good. Joey Lucchesi is, at best, a AAA, person who can come up here for spot starts. But that being said, I think the best thing they can do is trade for some pitching depth. And that being said, about an hour ago, Martino came out and said Stearns would be willing to part with some of our prospects in the top of the system, specifically outfield prospects, for pitching depth. And if that's the case, I think that could be a good thing to do. We have a ton of outfield prospects. We have a ton of depth at that position. I think maybe going out and getting some young, controllable pitching.
Who is that, right? Because we just saw Dylan Cease get traded over to where the fuck? Oh, he went to the Padres, which was like weird. The Padres are a team that's selling, and now all of a sudden they're trading for Cease. But like, nonetheless, that's a good move. Corbin Burns goes over to the Orioles. He's not around anymore. So like, who is that starting pitching depth that you're trading for, and what guys from our farm system are we willing to part ways with? You know what I mean? Like who is out there that's on the trade block that you know?
I don't know who's out there on the trade block. I mean, you can look at someone like I know we brought this up. Maybe what was it yesterday? Ryan Clifford maybe being on the trade block. He's a guy that's kind of blocked right now as a a first baseman. I think it'd be good to keep him as an insurance policy just because of
Just in case, yeah.
just in case with Pete. Knock on wood. Kevin Parada would be someone too. I mean, I know you love catching depth, but we do have some other catching depth in the minors. I mean, with the trade with David Robertson last year, we got that guy from the Marlins. I think I can't remember his name, Hector Santiago, maybe, or I don't know. To be honest, I can't remember his name, but he's another option. There are other options down there, so I think Kevin Parada would be someone I'm willing to part with. And there's
But
other,
for who? Like who are you trading for? So like for me, Kevin Parada is worth a lot, right? This is another catcher that can hit and really hit, from what we're told. That's the belief on him. So like, who are you trading for? Like is maybe like, here's a guy that I think, but I don't know if I don't. MLB trades are so hard to kind of decipher. Like a guy like Luis Castillo from the Mariners, are they willing to like
probably not.
part way? Like, yeah, probably not, because they re-signed him after they traded for him. Like, who can we bring in?
I don't know.
It's got to be MLB ready, right? Like, it's got to be.
I would think it's got to be either close to, if not,
because
in the majors right now. That's controllable for a few years. Someone that we're not going to have to pay right now.
Because right now you've got Vasil, Scott, and Hamill coming up. So to trade for another pitcher that you've never seen really pitch in Major League Baseball doesn't help you in that moment. Like, at that point, hold on to the prospects, let them blossom, and then do something.
Yeah.
Right?
It depends who the options are. I mean, off the top of my head, I really can't think of anyone. I mean, it would probably be someone who needs to replenish their farm, and it's someone that they could do without. So we got to look at teams with a bunch of options at starting pitcher, and then that maybe are short at another position in the minors, or just have a weak farm system in general. To be honest, this just came out an hour ago. I haven't thought much into it.
Yeah, but I think if this is something Martino is tweeting today after a Stearns press conference, I think maybe it's just me being hopeful, but I think that there's some legs to it.
Oh, I mean, 100%. I mean, there's no reason that didn't come out of nowhere. There's no reason that
someone
got
exactly.
Someone said something. Yeah,
exactly. That wasn't like something that they were like baseball night in New York and they're like talking about potential trades. Like, no, he just tweets this, and Martino is just like a very blunt, like, honestly, I think he's a fucking dickhead, but like, he's a very blunt guy. Like, he just kind of comes out with things. He's not very cryptic. So somebody from the organization wanted him to tweet that. I think that would be awesome. You bring in another starting pitcher, but whoever it is, whoever you're bringing in, it's got to be, to me, maybe not at the level of a Montgomery or a Snell, but it's got to be above that Lorenzen, Clevenger kind of tier, because if that's what we're going to do, if we're going to give up assets that we've got in the minors for another 3, 4, or 5 pitcher, like, to me, that doesn't help, because Adrian Hauser's here, like Quintana's here, all these guys that are average 3, 4, 5 pit, like, that's basically what our rotation is made up of, other than the potential of Luis Severino being an ace or a number 2 guy. This is a rotation of middle of the road starters. So if you're going to trade for someone, it's got to be someone like really fucking good. And if you have to give up assets, so be it, because whatever, it's someone that you've got control over, over the next couple of years. But it's got to be in that upper tier.
Yeah, guys like Corbin Burns and honestly, Dylan Cease is really the perfect person, perfect example. It'd be like him. I mean, I'm trying to think of just teams, maybe someone from the Tigers, like a Tarek Skubal. I don't know what his contract situation is like. Maybe
that would be awesome. But
I love Tarek Skubal. I think he's a good top 20 pitcher in the league.
The Tigers are trying to build this young pitcher, really this young team, and kind of they're really building around that pitching staff. Corey Mize, Skubal, the kid that Job, whatever his name is, kid that throws 102. Like, they're building around these young kids. I would think it'd be weird if they go out and they trade for like a center field prospect. Like, if you're the Tigers, especially a team that is kind of slated to win the AL Central this year, right? It's going to be them and the Twins at the top. I think that would be a weird trade. I mean, it'd be great for us. I would love one of those guys, but I just don't really know.
Yeah, it's tough. You can talk. We can talk until we're blue in the face about who they could possibly trade for. I mean, all we know right now is this is something that it must have been brought up by the Mets, because I mean their pitching depth really is kind of non-existent, at least at that in the upper parts of the minors. I mean, like you said, Scott's ready.
Well, I'm not saying that they're ready,
but they're close to being.
They're
ready.
Right there. Yeah,
they're right there. But realistically, how are all three of them going to pan out? No. If I had to bet money on it, maybe one of them is going to pan.
One of them, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that's the odds.
Obviously you're going to spin the wheels on all of them. You spin the tires on them, but we can't bank on that. We need to trade for guys that are here, that are ready, and are proven. We don't necessarily need an ace, because I think we can get that in free agency next year. But I think we need someone who's a reliable, 1 through 3 guy. Whether that's someone that you can see coming in like as a number 2 guy, or honestly a comp. Someone like a Chris Bassett, someone how he was for us, reliable 32 game starter, goes out there, keeps you in games. That's it. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with giving up some prospects for that. I'm not giving up, our Gilberts, our Acuñas, our Jet Williams, but I'm fine with giving up a Parada or someone like that.
It's got to be someone that's got at least 2025 still on their contract, though. Like that's what that's got to be.
I'm thinking, this year and next year have to be under contract.
If you're giving up a Clifford or a Parada, it's got to be someone with another year. It just has to, because then this year is once again like. There's, we could be excited for this year, no doubt, but I think that there's a cap on this team. Like this is probably not a World Series team, right? So
yes and no. The cap is really based off of how much these guys grow, like your Alvarez's, your Beatty's, your Vientos, the guys that are here and they're going to be starting. And Stevie Mac's right. It has to be really worth it to give up any of these prospects. Steve Cohen basically paid to get them. So why are we just going to go and give him right back up? But I think that's why we brought up it has to be someone that has at least next year under contract as well, if not 2026 too. And it has to be someone who is fairly proven. That's someone that is going to be you're going to be comfortable with putting there every fifth day. Out of your third starting pitcher, third or second, guy in the rotation.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be. I guess it's going to be another interesting weekend where we're texting each other and reading off tweets and trying to figure things out and hope that they do. Kind of hope that they do something. Something that I came across today. I guess it happened a day ago. Yeah. And it's not really Mets news, but like it does make me fucking laugh. Marcus Stroman declining to start opening day for the Yankees. Dude, fuck this guy. Fuck him when he was a Met. Fuck him last year, wherever the fuck he was.
Chicago.
Where was he? He was in Chicago past 2 years.
Yeah, he was a Cub.
And fuck him now as a Yankee. Like, it is an honor to pitch opening day. And it's not even like there's an injury issue or anything. And where this started for me, when he was a Met, 2021, his last year as a Met. Yeah. Was it 21 was his last year as a Met. So 2021, end of the year, I think we're like 4 games out, whatever. We were still mathematically alive in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, when he was here, it was that year. I think we finished like 86 wins, and just missed the playoffs. I think we got knocked out maybe like third week of September or something.
I might have been 70 something. No, I think we had a winning. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Shout out to Ibby. Ibby's on the grill. That's good.
What's up, Ibanez?
Good to see you, Ibby. It brings me back to that. And Stroman came out of the game in like the 6th inning or 5th inning or whatever. And when he was asked about it, they asked if there was fatigue or something, and he's like, "Nah, I just threw a lot of pitch. Like I threw a lot this year, and that's just my manager looking out for my long-term health, and it's a contract year." Dude, fuck you. Right when he said that, I was like, "Fuck you. I don't ever want to see you in a Mets uniform again. I'm so tired of defending you. I'm tired of your tweets. I'm tired of your fucking antics." And honestly, like, like Yankee fans that were excited for him, this is what you got. You got a guy that's a me guy, only cares about himself, cares about his stats, like does
That's a
not
big
I'm
thing.
sorry, he just doesn't care about the fucking team. He doesn't. When you're manager and like Boone, you clearly have zero control of that locker room. I'm sorry, because if you go to anybody, like I couldn't even imagine that. I could not imagine that if like a coach came to me and was like, "Hey, we want you to start opening day." That means like the organization believes in you,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
that is an honor in New York. It doesn't matter Mets or Yankees. It is an honor to open the season. And is opening day that important in the grand scheme of things? No, but like they're looking at you in a certain way that they're not looking at the rest of their pitching staff. And you just straight up look your manager in the eyes and you're like, nah, it's gonna
He was
mess up
just
my routine.
yeah, exactly. It's just gonna mess up my. Come on, dude. Like really? Let's get real here. How much is it gonna mess up your routine pitching 2 days earlier? You know, or what? 2 weeks out from opening day. Get a grip. Come on.
Yeah, he's. I'm so thankful he's not on the New York Mets anymore, and I really mean that. I really do. As much as we need starting pitching, I'd rather watch like I don't know David Peterson shit his draws and like walk 5 straight guys than watch Marcus Stroman pitch
Yeah.
for this team ever again. I
Yeah.
mean that.
I mean, on the conversation of opening day, I mean, the Mets finally announced their opening day pitcher in Jose Quintana, and I mean, I feel like that's something we all expected. You know, the guy, good pitcher. I think no one has any qualms with it. I think at the end of the day, maybe it would have been more exciting to see Sevy or now Tyler McGill with how well he's pitched there. But I think the writing was on the wall that it was going to be Quintana once Senga went down.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think
I'm
that's
fine with
that's
it.
the safe decision. That's fine. And you know what? Selfishly, I'm very okay with that
Yeah,
because
we might get to see Sevy.
exactly. I really want to see Severino, and we potentially get to see him that first Saturday at Poor Man's opening day, which we're all going to be at. We're going to be tailgating. We're going to be rowdy and loud. So
I think
come
we're
on down and see us.
section 523, row 7, if anyone wants to stop by.
What are we?
523, row 7.
523.
Yeah, we got like 12 of us right now, so might be more.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Stevie Mac, you're in on like every stream. If you want to come to Poor Man's opening day, let me know, Stevie. I think we can move a ticket over for you.
Yeah.
I said the same thing for Ibby, but I think Ibby's got some plans for that day. But yeah, so we're gonna be there. That's gonna be an exciting day. Do we have anything else before we cut the stream off? We talked a little DH.
Things. I mean,
What do you got?
we can keep going. I mean,
Yeah, what do you got?
I think what we were talking about with the DH thing, it's good to just touch back on Beatty and Vientos because they have played better as of late. I mean, you're looking at the two of them. They haven't been amazing, but even just today, Beatty had a couple hard hit balls, one that just found a hole, and just progressing and just getting better with making contact and finding barrels on the pull side specifically. I mean, this is a guy that
You talking Beatty or Vientos? I just
Beatty
had it.
more specifically, but Beatty, you know, he's someone that projects as it could be a 20 plus, you know, even maybe touch 30 home run guy. He's gonna make a lot of loud contact. He's gonna find gaps. You know, he could be a 30-30 guy. You know, 30 home run, 30 doubles. And for him to really just, there's gonna be growing pains. And if he's legitimately getting this shot where he's gonna be here all season, you know, assuming no injury, there's gonna be some growing pains. There's gonna be times where we're gonna be, you know, all the Mets fans on Twitter, maybe even us too. They're gonna be wanting a replacement there, but you can't cave. You can't.
He's gotta lift the ball a little bit. I mean, that's just these ground balls are killing me. I love him. I believe in him, but he's got to pick the ball up a little bit.
He's got to get under the ball. He's got to get some lift on it. And I mean, like, look, I'd rather him pop everything out and just slowly correct in the other way, you know, just start getting way under the ball and then slowly correct to where he's going to start, you know, getting some nice lift and some line drives. It seems like he's too focused on just hitting the top half of the ball and, you know, more worried about hitting some line drives or some hard ground balls as opposed to, you know, fly balls because he has the power to really crank some out of here.
He does. He really does.
And same with Vientos. He had a nice home run last night. And he's someone, when he hits the ball again, it's loud. He hits the ball damn hard. And he's been better as of late. I mean, his last 4 games, he has, I think, like 2 home runs, batting over 300. And he's someone that, you know, he just needs to find the barrel more. He's got to lessen the swings and misses. And if he can just make more contact, I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be a 300 average guy, but it's someone who can, he can hit in the two mid 200s, 240, 250, and he has 30, 40 plus home run potential. I mean, the dude has got some serious pop.
If he could make more contact, I think most of his problems would melt away at the plate. For me, his problem is contact. Because I think the other day I was criticizing how hard he hit the ball, and then stupid me, like I I took another look, and I realized he actually is hitting the ball really fucking hard when he hits it, but it's just not enough. It just goes back to Little League. Like, you got to put the bat on the ball. We could talk mechanics, but like, you've got to make contact. Alvarez just struck out. I can't get over how fucking small the letters are on the names of the back of these jerseys.
It's bizarre. It's just bizarre,
dude. At this point, just get rid of if that's the font size you're going to use, just get rid of it, and just nobody has names on the back anymore.
The Yankees were all for it because they know they don't have names back there. Yeah, make them as small as you fucking want.
The numbers look fine.
And the numbers look normal. They look like they did last year.
But I will say, these jerseys. So like, we've ordered jerseys from China before.
They look like them.
That's what these look like. They look like the jerseys that we buy. Yeah, exactly. And that's the sad part. Like these are like $200 jerseys they're wearing, and they look like dog shit.
Oh, here we go, Marte.
Nothing. Flying out to right.
I want to touch on that. I mean, he had a ground ball earlier in this game, and maybe it was the third inning, and he just does not move. Dude's lost a lot of speed, and I mean, like, look. I wasn't expecting him to be that 40 plus stolen base guy, but man, he does not move well. I really don't know how much.
It's a big part of his game to be able to run.
Yeah.
If that's not something he can do, it's just becoming harder and harder to justify. But you know what? Like, time is going to figure this out.
Yeah.
Time's going to figure out Mark Vientos and Brett Beatty. Time is going to figure out. Starling Marte. Bader was brought here for his glove. I think as long as he can keep his average above 200, he's going to have a starting role here, because we know like that's what he is, and that's fine. Marte's got to hit, and he's got to run. If he can't do those two things, and I got to say, like, watching him field some fly balls and like bounces into right field, he looks awkward. He does not look like he just doesn't look where he should be, I guess. Like, it's hard to put into words. G-Man Choi for DH. Yeah, not against it totally, but
I'm all for Vientos getting the. I know I keep going back and forth. Danny, what's up? I'm worried about Marte too. I don't know how much more those legs can take. I mean, the dude's did a number on his body with the steroids and just all the injuries. I mean, that groin too. I mean, I think sooner or later this situation is gonna solve itself. I mean, either it's gonna be Bader goes down or Marte goes down, or even both of them, God forbid. But you have Drew Gilbert right there. You have Drew Gilbert right there, ready to come up, assuming he comes out, and really lights up AAA. He's right there. He's right there. He's a 3 hour bus ride away.
What, from Syracuse?
4.5, yeah, 4.5.
No, dude, that's like a fucking 6 hour ride.
Really?
Yeah, there's always traffic.
Sure,
there's always traffic. Yeah, if you you drive at 3:00 in the morning, you'll get here in 4 hours. But our boy Danny chiming in, I'm worried about Marte being able to play the outfield. Danny, couldn't agree more. But once again, that goes back to it. Like, I think they're going to have him on a short. I think the young kids. I think Vientos and Beatty are going to have if there's no Martinez signing, I think Vientos and Beatty will have a decent sized leash. I think Marte's going to have a short leash. I don't think they're going to give him a whole lot of run. I think if it's June, I mean, it really depends on how the team is doing. Like, if everyone's hitting and everyone's doing their job except Marte, then he'll get run. If the team is losing and it's like Memorial Day weekend, you might see them make a change. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, they got to pay him this year and I believe next year too. I think he's still on the books for next year. I think it was either
Marte.
Yeah, it was either.
Yeah, it was like 4 years, 81 million, maybe. I think
Yeah, it was either
4 million?
a fourth year option or a 4 year contract, and
That was a
at that
straight 4 year.
it was 4 year, right?
Yeah.
Which I remember, I think is how we really got him, was that we gave him that extra year.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my worry too. But I mean, there's depth there, and like you said, Gilbert is very
Gilbert's
close
right
to
there.
being here.
Jet Williams in Double-A. I mean, he's a wild card. He could be up at any point this year. Really. I mean, just his profile. He just.
I think they're going to be very slow with him. I don't think they're going to rush him up.
I don't think they're going to rush him up, but I think he just profiles as someone who I think his best baseball is going to be played here in the major leagues. You're going to see, and he's looked damn good in the minors, but he's someone who plays the game that's just going to translate very, very well to the major leagues. That's just my take on it. And what Aaron said, just keep going with the Starling Marte conversation. I wouldn't hate that, him at DH if he can hit, but I think that's all contingent on how Vientos plays. I wouldn't hate Trace Thompson and Tyrone Taylor. They've looked good in spring training. They got good gloves out. They would have a good glove in their right field. You have very good defensive outfield. But I also think that could be an option, assuming Vientos isn't playing well. If Gilbert's up here, you could see guys like Marte, Bader, and or Nimmo, kind of cycling through that DH position where they're going to get time off their feet. Guys that are all injury prone.
Trace Thompson or DJ Stewart, like any of those guys, that's okay to me for April and May. Like that's okay, right?
That's not a permanent solution.
If something happens, okay. But like if we're getting into June and you're calling up like DJ Stewart instead of Gilbert at that point, like this year, I mean, it really all depends on the year. Like if they're winning and or like they're up there in a wild cards, I don't know. Like if it's tight, I get it. You want pro guys, but if the season already looks like it's kind of not really, I don't know. Just if we're gonna let Vientos play every day and just fucking strike out, then call up Gilbert. Like let him play because. I don't want to just don't be half pregnant. Like you're either going all in on these young kids and you're going to fucking let them play, or you're going to try to actually figure things out and try to go to the playoffs. So like if what we're going to do is play Vientos and Beatty every day and watch these guys struggle, then call up Gilbert too and let him get his strikeouts now when it doesn't matter, as opposed to next year, right? Let him face all the major league pitching now. Like, I don't want to see Vientos and Beatty striking out or whatever, and then Marte gets hurt in right field or doesn't look good in right field, and we're watching DJ Stewart play. Like, that, to me, that's dumb. That makes no sense. It's dumb. Either commit to these young guys or go and sign some people.
Yeah,
shit or get off the pot.
Bullshit. None of this half-baked bullshit. It's all in or all out on these guys. And that's a big thing. What you just said with Danny.
Yeah.
Big deal can play the outfield, and that's why I've been curious about what they're going to do at that last bench spot. Is it going to be Trace Thompson? Is it going to be someone like DJ Stewart or Ji-Man Choi? It almost makes no sense for them to carry a fifth outfielder with McNeil's ability to play the corner outfield spots. But in the same sense, I mean, DJ Stewart's looked like crap, and I really don't think there's a reason to start the season with him on the bench. I mean, he's a guy that you can kind of send up and down, especially with his options remaining. Ji-Man Choi could be interesting, as someone who's like ready to jump in if Vientos really is really struggling and he need a DH, or God forbid Alonso gets hurt.
Luke Voigt's there too. I mean,
yeah, I think he's on a minor league deal. I mean, I don't see him.
Yeah, no, I think he's on the same type of deal as Ji-Man Choi.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. But like, I don't want to see. I just lost my train of thought. I'm watching Alvarez throw to Vientos here, but yeah, I think we're kind of on that same page. Like, no. I don't want to see Trace Thompson. I'm sorry. Like, I know he's had a good spring. I don't want to see him playing up with this team. If he's here, like I'll get it. If it's like a series and someone's on a 10-day IL and you're just trying to like buy time, totally get it. No problem. He's fine defensively, but like I don't want to see Trace Thompson here for longer than a 10-day span. I really don't, because he's not a good major league player. He's a quadruple A player is what he is.
Yeah.
That's Trace Thompson. Like I'd rather see DJ Stewart. Like DJ Stewart he's shown some flash defensively, but like he's got some pop in his bat. He played pretty well last year and did earn that spot. Like Trace Thompson wasn't here. DJ was kind of earned his spot. But above all, I just want to see Gilbert, even if unless he really looks like he's not ready. But like at that point,
I
if he really looks like he's not ready, we've got bigger problems.
I mean, I don't see that being the case. I mean, the dude kind of hit the ground running here. I mean, he got traded in here and he took off and just he was playing better here than he was when he was in the Astros double A on their double A team. So I just don't see it. He looks like he's gonna be a damn good player. Good outfielder, scrappy kind of guy, 20 home runs, 20 home run type potential. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm excited for him. Jed Williams, and Acuna too.
And a very, very good point there from Dan is that not only could we move McNeil around defensively if Acuna is genuinely ready, and like if that bat is ready to come up, call him up. Like,
And he's on the 40-man roster. We don't have to worry about dropping anyone
Exactly.
and having someone pass through waivers. I mean, Gilbert, we do. We would have to lose out on someone if that was the case. But with Acuna, we don't. We just call him up and he hits
Right.
the field, and that's that.
Right. I mean, if he's ready, call him up and we'll figure things out after. We can
Yeah.
move McNeil around. And like, what we never account for, and we should at this point because we're Mets fans, is that there's injuries. Like guys are going to get hurt. Guys are going to pull hammies and whatever. So like
Something's going to happen.
some
It's
of
a
these
long
guys are going to
season.
get their chance. And, in those like little situations, I get calling up a DJ Stewart. I get calling up a Trace Thompson. But if someone's flat out not working out, then you need to go to these young guys.
Yeah, no, there's no reason to be giving these guys extended periods of time in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
They're here for injury replacement or just bench
Right.
bat. Simple
I mean,
as that.
listen, Trace Thompson comes up and he hits fucking 2 straight home runs and he's diving for balls. Like, yeah, all right, fine. Like, ride the hot hand. But the minute that bozo starts to strike out again, yeah, like that's it. I'm not letting you play here when I've got a kid that we traded for waiting in the wings. So
Exactly.
yeah, as he just catches a deep fly ball to left.
Oh, it's Trace Thompson. You know what's
was
funny?
Trace.
I had no idea. He's Clay Thompson's brother, the player. The
I
shooting
just
guard
found
for
that out.
yeah,
I did, and I feel like I've been living
from
under a
Golden State
rock.
Warriors. Now, it makes sense though. He looks exactly like him. So
I never actually looked at his face. I'll be honest with you.
he looks a lot like him. So
All right, what else you got, Bass?
nothing else. I mean, maybe just talk about some expectations for this team. Where do we see them? We're 2 weeks out. We're less than 2 weeks out. We're 13 days out from the start of the season. Where do we see this team going? Do we see this team treading water and just kind of being a middle of the pack team? I know I'm a little bit higher on them, maybe higher than I should be. Maybe getting my hopes up a little bit too much, but I realistically see this team making a shot at making a wild card run. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, Aaron. 85 win, maybe like 87, 88.
A few weeks ago, a few days ago when we did the show, I was there. I was like, I don't know, maybe they could, exceed our expectations. I think I'm kind of back down to earth.
No.
I'm kind of back down to a losing record. I don't, if they sign JD Martinez, then I see them as an 85 win team.
Yeah.
If they don't, and that's just me not believing in Vientos. I just don't because you look at this lineup, it's not a bad lineup, but like there's 3 dead spots right now. The way I look at it, Bader's a dead spot, Vientos is a dead spot, and Beatty right now is a dead spot. And
yeah, I agree to an extent. I think like I said, there's going to be growing pains with these guys, but I also think they have tons of potential, and it's a matter of if they can rise to the occasion or not.
And-
So I think calling them a dead spot
And I
just
hope
out-
I'm wrong.
out the gate is a little bit tough, but yeah, right now it looks like they haven't been
But
great. They haven't been great this
from
spring.
from what we have seen from both of those guys, from really all 3 of those guys, like you know what Bader is, right? That's probably not going to change.
But he was all right in St. Louis for some years. I mean, he's never been this lights out type of player, but he's someone who's he's done some decent
He's
things
capable.
when he can stay in the lineup. But that's
He
the big
makes
thing.
his money. He makes his money with his defense. And like once
Yeah,
again,
he's
at
more of a
center
defender.
field, where we're paying nothing, like that dude, that's fine. If you're gonna bat 200, but you are gonna catch everything that comes your way, like that's really not a problem. I could deal with that. What I can't deal with is because like what I think we're gonna go through with Vientos is not far off of what I think we went through with Vogelback last year. It's just like a nothing, a guy that's just nothing. And I hope to God I'm wrong. Mark Vientos Prove me wrong. Please fucking prove me wrong. I would love for you to be a staple in this lineup for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
But
I hope so.
I don't bank on it. I don't bank on it. And that's why I'm saying, like, as long as these 3 guys are in the lineup and they're going to do what they're projected to do, it's just not a team that's going to win 85 games. Like, you don't have, you're missing your ace until, at this point, probably Memorial Day, right? So that's 2 months.
Mid to late May is what
Okay,
we're looking at right
right.
now.
That's Memorial Day. I think Memorial Day this year is
yeah.
like May 24th or something. So you're missing your ace until that point. We're banking on Severino, and I if there's any guy I think will exceed expectations this year, I think it's going to be Severino.
No.
But like, once again, we're banking on him.
A lot of question marks with this team.
There's a lot of question marks. We're banking on a Fujinami to figure it out, right? Who really hasn't. He's done it in spring training.
He probably won't be in the starting day, the opening day.
But they're paying him $3 million, so I gotta imagine he's going to get some run.
He's got options. He's probably going to get his time to shine, but you have guys that have no options that are going to be here before him. They're going to stay here, and then if they stumble out the gate,
Reed Foley,
Foley, and what's his name, Johan Ramirez or something Ramirez. I can't remember exactly.
I totally get all that. I just think that there's way too many question marks, and it's a team. There's way too many question marks within the pitching staff, and I mean they've done well in spring training, but it is just spring training.
Yeah.
And because there's so many question marks within the pitching staff as a whole, you're banking on the lineup to carry the team. Well, I just don't see the lineup carrying the team when you've got 3 almost guaranteed outs every 9 batters until I'm proven wrong. And I hope to God I am.
No. Yeah, there's a lot of question marks. That's why it's tough to project this team. And I think it could go either way. You could see this team, like, I don't think anyone would be shocked if this team wins like 72 games. But in the same breath, I don't think I'd be shocked if this team wins over 90 games.
No,
I mean, within reason, but like I can see it. There's a path to them winning 90 plus games this year. And that's Beatty, Vientos,
right,
and Alvarez, someone we haven't talked on, who still, he was great last year, but he still wasn't. He was great for what he was. He's someone who still needs to refine his game. His defenses look great. He's done a decent job this spring. But at the times you see it when he plays, he's very jumpy at the plate. He's ready to attack that fastball, and sometimes he's guessing. Feels like he's guessing out there. And when he makes contact, he makes damn good contact. But that's the thing. Sometimes he's swinging in his spot, and he's too eager to really kind of hit a 4-run home run or 5-run home run. I should say.
That is the fluctuation in this lineup. Like, it would shock me. It would fucking shock me if Trace Thompson hit like 275 this year with 30 home runs. That would shock me. No. It wouldn't shock me if Brett Beatty or Mark Vientos did that, because that's what we thought you were going to do. Like, that's what we were hearing about for 4 years. This is what we've been hearing about. So yeah, it wouldn't shock me, but like, I just don't bank on it. Like, I could bank on, I'll tell you what I could bank on. I could bank on, as long as Nimmo's healthy, hitting 275 to 280, getting on base at almost a 400 clip, and probably hitting close to 20 home runs. I could bank on that. Yeah. I could bank on Alonso hitting at least 260, especially in a contract this year. In a contract year.
Great year.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a great year too.
I think he's gonna have a damn good year, like better than we've seen from him. He's gonna hit the ball.
I believe this will be one of his best seasons. I think he could do that. I think
his best season to date.
Lindor could have a tremendous season. None of that, like, that wouldn't be shocking.
30 home runs, 30 doubles, 30 stolen bases. That's what you're getting.
That's what we expect out of those guys. That's what we expect out of those guys. What we don't know is Vientos and Beatty. And once again, that is why I said it before. I'll say it again. This is why I want JD Martinez, because I know what I'm getting out of that guy. And not only do I know what I'm getting, but man, can Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos and maybe even Alvarez to a degree, like, maybe those guys could benefit from being around a JD Martinez every single day for 162 games. Like, you can't tell me that does not. I've heard so much about how this guy is a tremendous, like, note taker and teacher, and he loves working with young guys. This is a guy that's 36 years old. He's been around the MLB for so long. He's had a lot of success. He's had postseason success. He's won himself a World Series. So, like, I think that bringing him around would be so beneficial to this team. So beneficial.
Yeah, I agree. I think it definitely is beneficial. But a thing I was tweeting with Ernest stuff earlier in the weekend. Something he said. I mean, it's someone that you could rent at the deadline. You don't have to pay that now. You when you do sign him, if it's over the $15 million, which it will be for JD Martinez,
But
you got to pay
you're going to
110%
have
of
to
the
give up
contract in
assets at
terms
the
of tax.
deadline. You're going to have to give up assets for him. I would rather just lose money. What the fuck is money at this point?
That's
We're
us saying
so
it.
far into. I know.
We're talking about spending money that's not ours, and Stearns and Cohen seem to value staying under that tax threshold
But
right now.
think
So,
about what just happened last year and what you're doing this year. You're spending about $45 million this year on two guys that are not pitching for you anymore. Okay. And if Verlander goes 140 innings, you now owe, I believe it's 17 million of his whatever 30 something, 40 something $1 million contract next year. So like you're paying already, like on guys that aren't playing here. You just paid to get those assets here. I don't want to give up one. Listen, if you're going to give up some single A reliever, some guy we've never heard of to get JD Martinez, but like that's not going to happen. It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you something because if you're trading for him, that means that he's got some worth. So I would rather just, and I think if you're Steve Cohen, what the fuck did you make all these trades for at the deadline? Why did you rebuild this? Like for what? Just to give up one of those assets to save $10 million? I mean, you probably paid that for a piece of artwork this year. Like, let's be real. Let's be real. You're gonna give up an asset you traded for last year to essentially pay for the garage door of your Hamptons home. Like, just not literally, but think about it. Like, if you're gonna fucking get him now, or don't do anything and let the young kids play. And this is a developmental year.
Time will tell. Time will tell. Season's coming up soon, and we'll see what this team looks like in less than 2 weeks.
Fujinami just fucking nailed the guy.
Yeah.
Robles. Yeah. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt so fucking
only
much.
94 though. Only 94.
Dude, only 94? You want to take 94 miles an hour off the fucking shoulder?
I'll do
Fuck
it.
you. Fuck you, Bass. No, you wouldn't. You would drop to the ground and fucking stick a finger up your ass and whistle Dixie. That's what you would do. That hurts. That hurts. I would scream. God bless that guy. That's gotta hurt so much.
Oh man.
Fuck that. Crazy. We got anything else?
I think that's about it. What's up, Chris? How you doing?
Chris. Italian sausage, Joey Lucchesi opted to AAA.
Yeah, that was announced earlier today. I mean, I know Chris. He loves Joey Lucchesi. For me, like you said about Trace Thompson, he's a quadruple A player. He's someone who can be serviceable here when he's here for short term. But I don't see him ever really have an extended role here. Maybe out of the bullpen, but honestly, that looks like a strength of this team right now. So.
I mean, Joey never really got his true run. That's the only thing I'll give him is like every time he came, he's gotten it elsewhere. But like when he's come here, he succeeded, and then he got hurt or he got sent back down because the next guy came off the injured list. So like that's the one thing I'll give Joey Lucchesi. He's never really gotten his run, but I agree. If you're telling me I got to make a decision between calling up Lucchesi and like Jose Butto, once again, if we're just trying to play young kids, call up Jose Butto. Because I've never seen him play for an extended period of time. Yeah.
He's looked damn good this spring. So
yeah,
we'll find out sooner rather than later.
All right. Chris chiming in here. Sorry I couldn't make it. I'll make y'all next week. Yes, we are gonna hopefully starting next Friday. I think we'll be doing shows with Chris. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Chris is a good friend of ours. Big Mets fan, big Mets guy, got me into
He knows a lot too. He's knowledgeable in the Mets, so he'll be great.
Yes, very much so.
Part of the show.
Very much. Looking forward to that. So stay tuned on the socials. Flushing Sunny 41, Sunny Day and at Sunny Day Zach. Hopefully we get some good news this weekend. Hopefully the Mets added to starting pitching or their DH situation. Hopefully there's some legs to that Martino tweet. And we will see all of you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that next week.
Yeah, sometime early next week.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Enjoy the weekend. Let's fucking go, Mets.
Take care, everyone. LFGM.